What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Life After Lockup. This is season 5, episode 48. And when I tell you, Brittany, Zaria, and Bianca worked my nerves, I was irritated. But let's get into this review. So let's start off with Melissa and Louie. So y'all know they got engaged, and Melissa wants to be in a wedding dress like tomorrow. And everybody else around her is like, girl, you've only been engaged for like 3 hours. Chill out. But she's like, no, I'm going to go to this bridal appointment and we going to do what it do. So she's riding in the car, heading to her bridal appointment. And she's just like so shocked that like it's finally happened, that she's going to be able to be with the boy that she's always wanted to be with, which is Louis. They end up showing us the high school pictures. What's crazy to me is like, this is why I feel like you got to leave your town after high school, because you have to like broaden your horizons, because there a few dudes from high school that I'm like, he's still fine, or oh, he's still cute, or oh, he's living his life. Yes, but could I see myself like marrying any of them? No, because it's just like there was never nothing there. But even if I had a crush on them, I don't think I would ever double back. I don't know, it just is kind of weird. So she's on her way to the bridal appointment. We find out that Donna somehow got her way into the appointment. So Melissa's a little irritated about that. So she just is worried that Donna's gonna ruin her experience. And I said, girl, you should have been worried about your friend and your sister. So she pulls up to the bridal appointment. Her friend that we saw a few episodes back that was basically being messy, trying to make it seem that Joey posting an Instagram video of him advertising his personal training skills was like inappropriate or disrespectful towards Melissa. She's there. I think her name's like Fran or something. So Fran sees the ring. She's like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Like, she's excited. Melissa goes to try on her first dress. And then we end up seeing Donna and her sister pull up. Donna already got an attitude because she feels like, so why didn't Melissa come and pick me up? I said, Donna, first off, girl, you was not invited. You better be glad Melissa told her sister to come and get you, and they gave you the coordinates to get there. Just be quiet. So they get in there, and her sister kind of got an attitude because Melissa's already in a dress. And she was like, you already trying on the dress? And she was like, yeah. So she comes out in the first dress. It wasn't very flattering, in my opinion. I was like, girl, you could do better. It had like sleeves and everything. So Donna is just like, girl, that's not And she was like, if she wants to know what to wear for her wedding, she could ask me. I'm on my third marriage. And I said, well, Donna, that's not a good thing. Unless your husband died and you've been like a widow twice, that's one thing. But you told us that the first two husbands cheated on you and you pieced out. And then every time they show us your wedding photos, the only time you had like an actual nice ceremony was your first wedding. The last two weddings, you was getting married in a backyard or on a raggedy beach. Because the last marriage, I think she got married underneath a basketball like court, like a hoop. I was like, girl, what is this? What is this, Donna? So while Melissa is trying on the second dress, you hear her sister and the friend basically being like, they don't think Louis has the money for a real ring. They felt like either he got it by illegal means or it's a counterfeit ring. Donna being Donna, because Donna don't play about her son, is like peeping game and getting irritated. And I didn't fault Miss Donna. I thought it was very disrespectful that Melissa's sister and her friend were talking down about Louis in front of his mom. And then the fact that they were surprised that she started speaking up for her son was also perplexing to me, because I'm like, why would she just stand there and allow y'all to like belittle and degrade her son in front of her? So she's like, well, what are y'all talking about? Like, he's a personal trainer. He charges $150 a session, an hour for his services, and he has multiple clients. He's been saving since he got out. So why wouldn't he have the money? and he got two other jobs. And then the sister was like, oh yeah, you right. So then when we see them do a outdoor confessional, they're just kind of like, I think it's counterfeit. I don't know how he got the money. Maybe he asked for it from his mom, but I just think that they're rushing. And I'm like, if you're gonna put any of the blame on the whole rushing aspect of them getting married, it should be on Melissa. Melissa has been pressuring that man to get married since he stepped out of the prison. So if anything, check your sister, not Louis. So then she comes out in the second dress. I like the second dress after Donna pushed in the ruffles at the top, because the ruffles at the top were ugly to me. But when she pushed in the ruffles around the bodice of the outfit, I said, oh, that's cute. And I was kind of with her with the slit, but I mean, I'm also like, you should be able to wear what you want on your wedding day. It's your day, you're paying for it. But this dress definitely screamed Melissa. And Donna was like, I don't like it. Why even get the dress if you're gonna be naked? And I'm like, well, girl, she paying for it, or maybe Louis is. But then we end up hearing Donna ask the owner of the store that was helping Melissa. She was like, how much is the dress? And they said like 4,000. And Donna's like, well, can she wait a minute so my son can save some more money? And I agree, she need to slow down so that they can save, so Melissa can have the wedding she wants and not complain about it looking cheap and tawdry. Also, I just found out, someone on another review that I was watching, I think it's called Shade in the City, they said that Melissa got a kid. I said, girl, what? When did we ain't seen that baby nowhere. But hey, it's her right not to show her child, and probably the smartest thing she's done. So next, let's talk about Teenie and Rob. So we see them going bowling. Can't stand bowling. My family loves it down. My dad even has a custom bowling ball. You only got 2 games out of me when it comes to bowling. Now, if we go to one of the nice bowling alleys where they're serving margaritas and, Long Island iced teas. Now, if I could give me 1 or 2 of those and a set of fries and a nice cute little hamburger, then you could bowl all night as long as I'm fed and a little tipsy. But other than that, you got 2 games out of me. So they're bowling. Rob is excited because he was locked up for I think almost 10 years. So he ain't been bowling in years, So he's having a fun time. And then Teenie and Rob sit the children down to take like a pause and ask them, like, would they be okay with them expanding their family, like having a baby? Cheyenne was like, girl, are you about to pull out a pregnancy test right now? And they're like, no, we just want to know if you guys are cool with it. And I like this approach. Like, when you already have a family that is a certain size, I do believe that it is respectful and the right thing to ask your children, would they be okay with their family changing? Because adding a new life or a new person to the family changes the dynamics. So I was glad that they asked the kids this and they were like cool with it. But then you got the kids doing an on-site confessional. When I tell you Nehemiah was reading them, he was like, I don't understand the rush. Like, you just got a job 2 days ago. What's the rush? When I tell you, that's one thing I will give Teenie, is that she raised very like mature, kind and well-spoken children. Like, they speak better than everybody on this. Like, they got more common sense than everybody on this cast. Like, I was just like, he not lying. Okay. And then listening to when Cheyenne and Nehemiah had that conversation at the water park when she was expressing her feelings about Rob's mom, and her and Teenie getting into it. I'm just like, she has raised her kids so well. Like, I just couldn't believe he ate them up like that. I said, eat them up, Nehemiah, eat them up. So we then see Teenie's sister and her mom get to the bowling alley. And this is like the first time that a Teenie sister is meeting Rob. It seems like she likes her. They sit down and they tell Teenie's mom and sister that they're planning on having a baby. And the sister does the same thing Cheyenne says, like, you pregnant now? And she's like, no, like, we're just thinking about it. And the sister kind of makes a face, and Rob takes this time to like get away from them and go talk to the kids. And he's like, it's nice, like, we're doing this with your grandma and your aunt. Like, do you think it'd be cool if my mom and us did something like this? And the kids are like, it's cool if she comes around, but she just need to apologize to our mama. which is what I would expect them to say. Honestly, I think apologies need to be given on both ends. Rob's mom, Kate, came in there with nasty energy. She came in there entitled, and she came in there with a bone to pick with Teeny. But Teeny was wrong for inciting the fight by mushing that lady in the face. That's just what it is. So if Teeny can take accountability and Rob's mom can take accountability and they apologize so they can move forward, I think that would be like okay for them to continue as a family. Because Rob ends up saying in his confessional that it's gonna hurt him if him and Teeny have a kid and his mom is not around for that experience. So we actually see him contact his mom and leave a voicemail. So I guess next episode we'll see them have a conversation. So we also see the conversation continue with Teeny, her sister, and her mom. And the sister ends up breaking down crying because the sister is like, are you seriously trying to have a baby after what happened with Nehemiah? And Teeny's like, I understand, like I'm getting older and, you know, getting pregnant and having a baby as a black woman is not the safest thing. But Rob has been there and I wouldn't mind expanding our family. So the sister is just like, I need a moment. And she's crying and Teeny's like, what's wrong? And she's like, we could have lost you. So we find out when Teeny was pregnant with Nehemiah, they had to induce labor and her blood pressure skyrocketed and then Nehemiah's heart stopped. So they had to do an emergency C-section, and I guess the sister just is scared that she's going to lose her sister. And if they have such a close relationship, which it seems they do, I think anybody would be terrified of losing their sibling. And the sister ends up saying, I'm going to be mad if something bad happens to you. I'm going to be so pissed off at you. And that's something that a sister would say when she loves her sister. I say it to my sister all the time. But that's where their scene ends. So let's talk about Justine and Michael. So they finally tell Justine's mom that she's pregnant, and that lady was not happy. No me gusta. Okay, so they're laying in their bedroom playing with baby Manhattan, and Michael tells Justine, I think it's time we tell your mom about, you know, your pregnancy, because she's coming out here for Manhattan's birthday. And I think she said 2 days or 3 days after that, Justine is getting induced for labor. So they end up calling the mom on FaceTime. The mom is kind of like, hey girl, hey. And Justine's like, oh, are you happy to come down for the baby's birthday? And she's like, yeah. She said, yeah, I got a lot of things going on. Like, you know, Michael's mom is out here with us permanently, and, you know, we have the birthday. I want everything for that to go well. Then I need to take some rest because the next day I'm having a baby. And the mama is like, girl, you for real? Like, whoa, like, you for real? Like, don't BS me, Justine. And she's like, it's no BS, mom, I'm pregnant. And then the mom's like, and why are you just telling me that you're pregnant? And she's like, well, because I didn't need that stress. And she was like, so you're having a baby right after the party? And Justine's like, yeah, mom, I am. And that lady said, Justine, who's out here having babies like this? Like, it's not the 1800s. And Justine's like, well, I didn't know you knew the census, or like taking a world census of everybody having babies. And then the mom is like, so Michael, did you plan this? Like, what is up with this? And Michael said, we just left it in God's hands. Like, we wanted another baby and this just is happening. And mom is like, are you serious? And Justine's like, yeah. And she was like, we'll see you when you get out here. And so she hangs up. And here's the thing. The mom was over it when Michael said it's in God's hands. She was like, don't give me that. Don't give me that. Honestly, what the mom is saying is correct. Like, they shouldn't have another baby. On top of the fact, I saw some rumblings online where people are like, Justine's mom is the reason why Michael and Justine have that home that they're living in. So some people feel like they should keep her in the loop of things. But at the end of the day, Justine and Michael are 36 years old and they're allowed to do what they want with their life. But I also feel like her mama is mean at times, so I wouldn't want to tell her anything either. But again, it is what it is. They can't stop her from having this baby. So let's talk about immature Bianca and stupid Daniel. So the episode actually opens up with their scene where you have Bianca storming out of the bar because Daniel didn't defend her against Gator, saying, hey, I don't think y'all should get married. Y'all need to live together before y'all decide to like get engaged and everything. So she goes to her car. She's like trying to unmic herself. She tells production she doesn't want to talk to them. She just wants to go home. She doesn't want to film anymore. And Daniel was like, I'm not about to get up and go see her. Like, I didn't do nothing wrong. She said she didn't didn't want to have the conversation no more, so we didn't have the conversation anymore. So then Gator tells his fiance, hey, go check up on her. So the girl goes outside. She gets in the car with Bianca and she's like, are you okay? And you could tell that Gator's fiance was uncomfortable because she was like, he should be out here talking to you. And Bianca's like, yeah, but this is what happens all the time when the whole engagement thing pops up. I get frustrated and mad because he promised this, and then he shuts down and tells me like, I know what I promised, but it ain't gonna happen. And this is what happens. So then Gator basically tells Daniel, you need to run. You need to get away from her. And this just ain't it. And so Gator ends up doing an on-site confessional where he was like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a betting man, and honestly, I would bet on the horses before I would bet on this relationship. She's very immature. So Daniel goes out and tries to talk to Bianca while she's sitting in the car. Then she gets an attitude and it's like, I'm done with it. I'm above it. I'm not angry anymore. I just don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. And he was like, you really want to leave? And she's like, yes, I don't want to be in there anymore. And Daniel decides not to leave with Bianca. So he goes back into the bar and was like, she's leaving. I'm sorry for her behavior. And he also states how it's showing the level of maturity where she's definitely showing that she's 23 years old and I'm 31 years old. So they're sitting down talking and Bianca drives off. So then Daniel has to get an Uber to get back home. So he gets back home and Bianca got an attitude and he gets in bed with her and he was like, you want to talk about it? And she's like, no, I'm above it. I'm above it. We don't need to talk about it. I'm done with it. And then she was like, you know how I feel about this whole engagement situation. I'm just done with it. And so we see them arguing in the confessional where Daniel was like, we do not have to get engaged so quickly. And then Bianca was like, I've given up a lot. I moved out here. People in my family won't even speak to me anymore. So that pretty much answers the question that I've had, like, where are her parents? Where are her siblings if she has them? So it seems like her family cut her off for entertaining this relationship with Daniel. And I think Bianca in her mind thinks that if Daniel and her get engaged and they get married, it will legitimize their relationship. So then she can be like, see, I told you guys, like, it worked out. We're together. We're engaged. Everything's great. I made the right decision for my life. When ultimately she looked like a clown and she got egg on her face because the fact that the prisoner has more common sense than you, somebody living in the free world, says a lot. Because Daniel is pretty much like, girl, I'm not ready. I've only been out of prison for like 2 months. Like, are you serious? What you want to happen? And so Bianca's pretty much feeling defeated. So it's the next day and she talks about how she doesn't really want to fight anymore and her friend Haley is coming. So we find out that Haley is sleeping in the bed with Bianca while Daniel sleeps on the couch, and he doesn't seem too happy about that. But it is what it is. We see her go pick up Haley. They're excited to see each other. Bianca starts to get emotional because it's setting in that she really is lonely staying in Arizona by herself. Like, she hasn't made any friends and she misses her friends in Florida. So they go to the bar. They don't go home right off the bat, and they're at the bar drinking, and Bianca is just unloading all her frustrations and disappointment she feels about being in a relationship with Daniel. Haley ends up saying that she feels like Daniel strung Bianca along or fed her all these promises. And I was like, no, duh, Sherlock. Your friend's a dummy. Like what's not clicking? Like, she decided to seek out somebody in prison. That's her fault. And Haley's like, like, Bianca wants to be married and all this stuff, and you are stupid too, because why are you not being logical and telling your friends that this is not what's going to happen? This wasn't the smart idea. You know what I mean? Y'all shouldn't be rushing to get married. So then we see Daniel on FaceTime with his mom on the computer, and they're talking, and the mom is like, so are y'all doing good? And she's like, no, we're not doing good. Bianca and I got into a fight. He explains what all happened. And then she was like, well, did you give her the ring? And he was like, no, I was going to. And then I had a moment when we went walking. And so the mom is like, well, I think you should give her the ring so she knows it's real. I said, no, your mom's stupid too. Because if you give Bianca that like $10 ring you got from Plato's Closet, she's definitely going to expect that y'all are going to get engaged. And then y'all are going to get married. And Daniel should stick to his guns about like, hey, I'm not ready for that type of commitment. I just got out of prison like 2 seconds ago. Give me a chance to breathe and reset my life. So let's talk about Brittany and Key-Rock. Girl, Brittany worked my nerves. And it sucks to say because I was giving Brittany props because she's the same age as Bianca. They're both 23. But I was like, well, Brittany seems to have more maturity than Bianca, but no. This episode, she shows she ain't got it. So we find out that Brittany got a 30-day pass to be in Houston. Basically, if she's not back in Virginia in 30 days, they will consider that she violated parole, and then she would have to serve out the remainder of her sentence, which is 17 years. I said, I would never leave the state of Virginia then. I just wouldn't. So they're in Houston. It was a 20-hour drive from Virginia to Houston. Brittany is excited. Key Rock is excited. We see them take a picture in front of We Heart Houston sign. They finally get to their apartment complex. I don't know what I was expecting with Key Rock saying we pay $1,400 a month in rent, but this is not what I was expecting. You know, I don't know. Like the outside gate, very hood. And then when I saw the gate, I said, oh girl, y'all do live in the hood. Cause the only time I've seen those types of gates is in the hood. And it's basically to keep riffraff out of the apartment complex and to stop cars from like ramming into the getting into the neighborhood without being there or ramming into it. So they get into the apartment. It's cute for the most part. It's a nice 1-bedroom apartment with an open kitchen, and they have a nice size bedroom. So Brittany is excited, thinking about all the things she's gonna do with decorating the apartment and making it a home for her and Key Rock. And Key Rock just has this look of like exhaustion, overwhelmed, and stress and happiness because he's been using all of his money and he's been tapping into his savings. He also is tired because it seems like he was driving the whole 20 hours and he's just like he overwhelmed pretty much. And Brittany's like, well, you should be happy. Like, how many people can say they got out of prison and they are able to do all this stuff for themselves? And Key Rock's like, not many. So she's like, yeah, so be happy. So it's the next day and we see Tammy, which is Key Rock's mom, and her boyfriend, Ocean. So they come into the apartment. They're excited to see both of them. We see a confessional with Key Rock and Tammy. And Tammy's just like, I'm glad they didn't get married because I would want to be there. And, you know, Brittany's family deserves to be there. And they deserve to have this lavish wedding and it be tropical, you know. So it's a good thing that they didn't elope because Tammy would have been pissed. Just like Brittany's abuela would have been pissed. So while Tammy and Brittany are pretty much like doing the same thing that Brittany did, of talking about what they're going to do with the apartment, how they're going to decorate it, you got Ocean asking Key Rock, so how much is all of this costing you, bro? And Key Rock basically said like $1,500 a month. And Ocean is like, my goodness, for real? Wow. So we end up seeing the four of them sitting on the blow up bed in the master bedroom. And, you know, Tammy is just happy that they're there, excited that they are now in Houston. And Key Rock's like, yeah, we got to make some things shake before we go back to Virginia. And the mom is like, what do you mean? And Key Rock's like, well, she can't be here no more than 28 days. And she's like, what? So why are y'all down here? And Key Rock's like, well, I need to start working because, like, we got to get some money. Ain't got no money coming in, mom. Like, I got to get some money. So then Ocean takes it upon himself to be like, and Brittany, what you doing? And Brittany's like, well, right now my goal is to take care of Key Rock. And Ocean is like, what about school? I thought you was in school. So we find out that Brittany, I guess, stopped going to cosmetology school, which I don't know why. And it seems like she stopped because she got overwhelmed and couldn't handle the stress. And so Tammy ends up being like, well, y'all gonna need 2 incomes for this place because Houston is expensive. It's more expensive than Virginia, which is kind of surprising to me because I would have thought that Richmond, Virginia and Houston would have been on the same page. But then again, Houston is bigger than Richmond. So I'm just like, I'm just a little surprised. So Brittany basically is kind of catching the attitude in the confessional where she's like, I don't need to work right now. You know, I haven't found a job that pays me what I want and I enjoy it. Saying the same thing that Joey said. I was like, y'all got too much to be entitled for when you don't have anything to show for it. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, yeah. She's like, I'm not doing it. I'm not working in the kitchen. I'm not, being a waiter. I'm just not doing it. So then we see a confessional with Key Rock and Brittany where we find out that Brittany would be off of probation if she paid back the $10,000 in restitution. But because Brittany want to live this hood fantasy lifestyle, wearing like $500 nails and constantly like getting her hair done and buying certain clothes, is the reason why her restitution isn't paid off and she's still on probation. So it's like you're crying and you're upset about still being on probation, yet you know the reason why you're still on probation. Stupid. And it shows immaturity, because it's like you can't go without for like a year or two in order to be off of probation so you can be free and make decisions that are not based off of like having to check in with your PO every day. That's madness to me. And you can tell that Key Rock wanted to like tell Brittany to get a job, but he didn't do it. So I'm like, well, closed mouths don't get fed. And if you keep telling her it's okay that she doesn't have a job, then you get what you get. So it's the next day, and Brittany got an attitude because I guess everyone telling her to get a job like irritated her. And so she's washing this one pot in the sink, and Key Rock's just like, I just need quiet because I need to get some rest because I got to report to work in the morning. And Brittany's like, stop throwing reporting to work in my face, acting like I don't do nothing. And Key Rock's was like, I'm not doing that. And also I do need to rest. And Brittany is like, well, you wouldn't have that job without me talking to my cousin. And Key Rock's like, no, I got that job because of my credentials. What it is. And so then I don't know if Brittany said this isn't prison anymore or Key Rock said this isn't prison anymore, but she was like, stop throwing things in my face. And Key Rock's like, I'm not throwing it in your face. So then Brittany gets frustrated, grabs her purse and leaves the apartment to go get tissue, because Key Rock is like, well, what you can do is go get tissue for me, or do I need to be there for you? Do I need to hold your hand? I don't know. I just think that they make rash and irrational decisions when this didn't really have to be an issue. If you guys would have just waited or allowed Key Rock in the beginning to go to Houston and set up for you guys, I don't think this would be an issue the way that it is. And Key Rock wouldn't be stressed out about having to pay for everything if he was already in Houston working and Brittany was like working on paying off her restitution. Girl, Kim and Joey, man, we find out Joey been skiing on them slopes. Okay. Anytime that someone brings up cocaine, all I remember is Mariah off of Married to Meta saying, cocaine. That is always what pops into my head. But let's talk about it. So it's the same day Joey left to go to urgent care, and it was daytime. Now it's nighttime. It's 6 something at night, and Kim and the boys are coming back into the house, and I guess she took them to like the park after church or something, because that's what they were supposed to be going to in the morning. And so she's saying in the confessional that like he's been moving funny. We also hear the kids asking her like, where's Joey? And she's like, girl, I don't know. So she also lets us know that the joint account that they opened, she put like $100 in there, and Joey took out basically $96 because there's only $4.02 in the account, but she doesn't know what he spent it on because it was an ATM withdrawal. So then Joey pulls up in the driveway around like 8:05, 8:06, and he's like, what y'all doing? And you see Kim pretty much getting the kids ready to go to bed, like brushing their teeth and everything, and she's like, I'm putting them to bed. So then she goes into the bedroom where Joey and is like, where you been? Where you been? And Joey is irritated, he's tired, and he's just like, I mean, I went to urgent care. And she's like, did you get your medicine? And he was like, no, because like I put it in, but they didn't have it ready. I said, that's a lie. That's lie number one. Because does it take a long time to get a prescription filled? But yes, normally they'll let you know if it's going to be a whole day, or they'll alert you. It's given, Joey didn't put nothing in, okay? And so Joey got an attitude because Kim got an attitude. So Joey's like, you know what? I'm tired of this. So he goes outside, and she's like, where you been? And he's like, why does it matter? Because you're not going to believe me anyway. And he was like, you ain't never believe me. And she was like, well, Joey, you acting funny. You acting real funny right now. She was like, you want to know why I left my last husband? Or so-and-so. I don't know if she's talking about her current husband, because you know Kim been married twice. She's like, it wasn't because of him cheating on me, because he cheated on me with 17, girl. I said, girl, and you stayed? self-esteem in the trash, because ain't no way. She was like, it wasn't because of that. It wasn't even because of the drinking, because he would drink and leave me alone. It was because he got on drugs, Joey. That's why I left him. And I don't know, because you acting funny. You acting like you on something now. And she was like, if you want me to believe you and leave you alone, you would take this drug test. So Joey's like, I'll take the test. So Joey's like, all right, cool. So they go into the house and she pulls out a drugstore drug test and she puts it on the kitchen table. And he's like, whatever, I don't really care. He was like, I already went to the bathroom. Like, I'm gonna need something to make me go use the restroom. So she gives him the orange juice bottle. So he's just drinking orange juice out of the jug and he's stalling because it goes from 30 minutes to 45 minutes and he still ain't, ready to go to the bathroom. So Kim is just like, you gonna take this test. So Joey's like, I'm gonna go get me a smoke. Like I gotta go smoke. So he tells Kim, I'm going out on the porch to go smoke. Kim follows him to his car and he was like, why you out here? And she was like, cause I'm out here. Honestly, Kim was too calm for me because I'd have been like, you could get out my house. Cause you already left in a huff in the morning and then you didn't come back from 8 o'clock. And I'm not stupid. I know what I see if I was her. So it's finally time where he goes to the bathroom and he pees. And he's like, oh, that's not enough to put in the cup. But then it turns out it is enough. And girl, it tested positive for cocaine. I said, Joey. Y'all know, I've been telling y'all, I've been thinking Joey was on something. But I'm also with Kim because Kim was like, something's not right. Because if he was testing positive for, the ski slope, the powder, then he should be up. Like he should be like, erratic, but he's not. He's very like down and lethargic. And so she feels like it's something like there has to be something more to this. I did see people online say they think he might be mixing with fentanyl or something else. All I know is Joey on that stuff. Okay, he on that dope. So he gets mad and leaves the house. And Kim is like, where are you going? And he was like, you crossed the line. You ain't never trusted me. I said, how did she cross the line? Were you the one back on drugs, sir? And so he ends up being like, your test is wrong, and then just drives off. I said, Kim, you're stupid because I know that car better be in your name and you need to get it repoed. Kick that man out your house, change the locks, and go on with your life. Just go on with your life. So let's talk about Zaria and Troy. When I tell you that lady has a nasty spirit and needs to be like laying on somebody's couch weekly for therapy. I hope she on medication for her mood, because the fact that every time that Troy wants to see his daughter or his daughter is associated with something, Zaria shows the yellowest part of her ass is so like disgusting and embarrassing, and she should be ashamed. I hope when she watch back this clip, she's embarrassed of her behavior. She is a joke. So pretty much it's community day. We open up their scene and Zaria is getting a boot put on her car because she got over $500 in parking tickets. I was like, girl, what do you be doing to have over $500 in parking tickets? And that boot was new to me because I've never seen a boot where you can punch in a code after paying and they take it off of your car. I've only seen the ones where you have to call somebody to come and take it off your car, or the new one where they don't put it on your tire, they put it on your window, so you can't get it off your window. So pretty much they take the boot off. Zaria says that her financial advisor always told her to have like $1,000 or a couple thousand saved for emergencies. I'm like, if you already have $1,000 saved for emergencies, why are you not paying your rent that you said you're falling behind on when it comes to like the building that you use for business? Like, what's going on with that? Or was that just a storyline? So they pay it and you see them get ready to get in the car. They need 50 kids to sign up for their outreach program in order to get funding. So Troy's sitting in the passenger side of the car smoking a blunt. Zaria has an attitude. Troy lets it be known that Yana's not coming. Zaria's like, thank God. But Karen is bringing the child. And Zaria's like, ugh, but Karen has to come. So then Zaria's like, what's up with you? You not even talking to me. You not saying nothing. You know it's our anniversary. All you doing is smoking a blunt. And he's like, I'm taking my medicine. I said, girl, what is this? So they get to the church. The dad is supposed to be helping cook. And they're like, okay, we need to go get flyers to pass out. Or, I mean, I don't know if they have like stuff for the people to sign up. So Troy's sitting in the driver's seat texting, and Zaria is pissed that he's texting. She's like, who are you texting? Stop texting. So he kind of stopped texting and starts driving, but then he proceeds to text again, and Zaria's like, pull over, Troy, pull over. And he gets out the car, and she's like, I'm driving. So they sitting in the car, and they end up like getting to Home Depot. So they go into Home Depot, and she has an attitude talking about, you texting, you not even telling me who you texting, you ain't said nothing about our anniversary. I'm over this, Troy. So they get back into the car, and Troy tries to make an excuse talking about, I'm learning that my wife doesn't do well in high stress environments. Okay, she doesn't do well, but that doesn't mean her attitude has to be so nasty and malicious. So he gets into the car. She's still ranting and raving about him texting, and she kicks him out the car. And he starts walking. She leaves him stranded. Production ends up allowing him to get into the van because he's like, can y'all help me out? Because I need to go pick up my daughter. I need to go pick up my mom. And then he ends up showcasing that what he was texting was basically making a Instagram post celebrating and thanking Zaria for holding him down while he was in prison. So I was like, you blocked your own blessing because you were so angry about him not saying nothing about your anniversary, but he was going to do this sweet gesture for you. And now here you are pissed off, leaving him stranded. So we find out that Karen and little Troy have been stuck at the train station for an hour. So Karen ends up calling Troy, or Troy ends up calling Karen. And we find out that Troy is now back at the church, hiding out in the bathroom, basically telling Karen to call Zaria because Zaria is the one that owns the car, saying that she tripping, she acting crazy, just call her so she can come pick y'all up. So Karen ends up saying, like, that damn Zaria, like, she's a psychopathic bitch. Like, I can't believe she taking Troy through all of this. And Karen starts to get emotional because she just hates what Zaria is doing to her son. So he finally comes out of the bathroom, and Troy starts walking and texting. Zaria gets an attitude again, being like, what are you doing? Like, we need to do all of this stuff to get ready for this day. Like, what are you doing? And Troy's like, I need someone to go pick up my mom and my daughter, Zaria. Stop playing about my kid. I don't play about my kids. So then Troy ends up calling his mom again, and the mom ends up telling him, we about to go back to Syracuse or Buffalo, wherever they stay. Because she was like, I'm not about to be around all of this, and I'm not going to subject my grandchild to this. And so Troy walks back, and I think he was trying to ask Zaria for the keys, but Zaria was like, we got bigger things to worry about. And Troy looked at her like, girl, what do you mean? Like, my daughter and my mom are stranded at the train station. Like, I'm going to go pick them up. And Zaria's like, no, Troy, you need to stay here. You need to help out here. And so Troy ends up walking away, and Zaria's like, Troy, where are you going? Like, after seeing this episode, anything Miss Karen was saying on Facebook, well, let her have it. Like, do I think it's wrong? Yeah, but after seeing the display that Zaria showcased on this episode, she get what she get, because, like, her behavior was so nasty. It was so nasty. Like, are you serious? How dare you say that this is more important than him picking up his mother and his child? Honestly, she's just jealous of that little girl, basically because of her connection to her mom. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. And as always, remember to be bravely authentic. Definitely hop down in the comments below and like and subscribe. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.